All right, hello everybody. We'll give everybody a second to get on here. As you can tell, we're not in our normal place and we're not looking at something we normally would. We're here at Varozza 4x4 up in Northern California, and Ben Varozza is with me today. Actually, I'm with him today, and we're in his shop. We got a bunch of cool stuff to show you, but we are going to start with the Cal4Wheel Win-A-Jeep. So we'll just give everybody a second to get on here. Jimmy, maybe you could read off some of the names of people that are joining us right now. That'd be cool.
So far, we got Kevin Hudson also.
Kevin Hudson, nice. Awesome. Sounds like some of our regulars on there. So we do have a stand-in question reader today. Only Alex came up here with me, so the voices sound a little different out there.
Peter Doolin.
Peter, all right.
Eric
Excellent.
Swager.
Nice.
Anthony Paquette.
All right, Anthony. He's one of our regular guys. That's cool.
VB Tom from Virginia Beach.
Excellent. Excellent. He was asking a question about frame-mounted rockers, and he was looking for pictures of them, and I was thinking, he knows we sell those, right? So we've got good ones.
Yeah.
You and I were just talking about.
I haven't mounted yet.
Yeah, they're
There they are.
250 wall, they're beef,
Yeah.
so that can hold up, that's for sure. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about this Jeep. Ben, tell everybody what the purpose is, and then let's kind of get into what you're doing to it.
So, Cal4Wheel Drive Association, every year they do a raffle Jeep. They buy a Jeep, somebody builds it with a lot of products, and it gets raffled off the following year. And it's all money going into land use. Cal4Wheel is a big supporter and aid in keeping our trails open. So this particular Jeep is a 2021 Gladiator JT that they purchased. They asked me about the color. I suggested Gecko Green. Stands out, it'll get seen.
They in fact got it.
So they came to us this year, asked us to be the builder of it, and they have a lot of their typical corporate sponsors they use. We started with some BFG KM3 tires, Raceline wheels, Rock Chalk suspension stepped up and gave us a suspension, their anti-rock sway bars.
Yep, a warm winch.
Yeah, we got a worn winch on here. And then we talked to Tony from GenRight and wanted to get some GenRight products on this thing. So, and I particularly like aluminum. It's lightweight. So we've got GenRight aluminum front bumper, aluminum rear bumper, aluminum tube fenders, the inner fender panels, and the heavy duty rocker rails with the kick panel skins there.
Yeah, so, if you haven't seen those, that's got the dimple die stuff on it. So this goes up on top. So just in the process of getting all this stuff put on.
Yeah, we just got the Jeep back yesterday. It's traveling all around California to different events. It'll actually even be going to Sand Hollow, Utah, for Trail Hero, and the SEMA off-road show in Vegas. So it's gonna
make the rounds. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, like you mentioned, this is such a big fundraiser for Cal4Wheel. And the tickets,
$20 a piece, gets you a ticket. You can buy multiple tickets, and all that money goes into keeping our trails open for us to use.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on with Oceana Dunes and trying to keep those trails open and all over.
Yeah, the latest, yellow.
The yellow,
whatever, yellow
tail
leg frog.
something.
Yeah, I don't know, something ridiculous. So so it's important for us to keep the legal fund going. Yes, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Jimmy, how are we doing on questions?
No questions so far, just a few comments about they like the color, and VB did not know there was an option for a frame mount.
Yep, JL, JK, JT. Yep. Okay, so for those of you that are watching, you are welcome to ask questions, so please chime in, and Jimmy will read them off. We are going to cover several different vehicles here that are just your customer builds, but I did want to talk about this first. So you do have more stuff to do on this as well, right?
We do, yeah. We'll keep adding products to it throughout the year. We're waiting on some shocks, looking for a shock sponsor to put some shocks on there.
Yep, we talked about some lights.
Yeah, we'll
Right.
be putting some lights on it, and
I saw
possibly.
an S-Pod thing or something over here.
Yeah, that goes to that
Oh,
project.
that one. So that's not here yet.
One thing I forgot: rugged radios.
Oh,
they
good.
sent us a radio to put in
Good,
it,
good.
which is an important thing on the trails
Yeah,
for
for
communication.
For sure.
So, Jim from JE Real Drivelines, I talked to him. He'll be
Awesome.
sending us some drivelines for it. We're looking at upgrading the knuckles and ball joints. So it'll get outfitted pretty nice.
That's great. Yeah.
A tent. It's gonna get a rooftop tent.
Oh, it is too. Wow.
Yeah. So
Okay.
a lot of things are still in the works and
Yeah.
figuring out, but
Oh, Jimmy's got a question.
When Troy Merritt wants to know when you're going to start making frame-mounted rockers for YJs.
That's a good question. I'm not sure about that.
the TJs and YJs tucking up to the body, they're not that long,
Right.
and so that you gain so much clearance by not having it mounted to the frame.
Yeah, and we're actually, by the time we get out to that TJ, it's got our mini boat set on there
Yeah.
with a nice little step in it, so
Yeah.
we can talk about that too. So I know Troy is very concerned about cutting and stuff, so I was just thinking, I wonder if we could cut down a set of JK ones to make them fit, or that he could, or whatever, you know? I don't know, I can think about that.
I got a question for Ben. It said, has anything been done to install lockers? And if so, which lockers and gears?
So the question was about lockers, right, for this?
Yeah, nothing has been done yet.
We were just
that's
talking
where-
about
yeah.
Yukon.
It's not a Rubicon Jeep, so we'll be looking at putting some lockers in it.
Yeah, and Ben's talking to Curry about a front
Possibly a
44.
whole front axle.
Yeah, so this is in the early stages, obviously, of doing
Yeah.
this. So yeah, it's
And-
kind of a cool process because all of the companies involved donate the products because they know this is the land use fundraiser, and you're donating your time to build it. So it's really a collaborative effort in
Yeah.
the whole industry. So, and by the way, if you are out of state, you can still buy tickets. You don't have to be a California person. So, and a lot of people from out of state come and wheel the Rubicon or some of our other trails, Johnson Valley. So, by all means, your money does help keep all that open.
Sure.
So, yeah, not to forget about that. More?
David Driver, kind of off topic. He's got a 2018 JLU. I do both rock crawling and overlanding. What do you think about coilovers in the front, but regular coil springs and shocks in the rear?
That's a good question for Ben. So the question was, can you do coilovers in the front and still keep the coil springs in the rear? What would you say on that?
You can. I've always loved coilovers because I like that nice clean package. And you got your shock coil all in one. There's so much adjustability and rebuildable with the coilover shock if you use a good quality shock.
Right.
But there's nothing wrong with a solid coil and a good quality shock. And I learned that when we were racing the stock class
Right,
Jeep.
right. Because that's what you were limited to.
Yeah, and so with a good quality spring and a good shock, this tuning of the shock is key.
And that takes time.
In that, yeah.
Right?
So either or, I'm still partial to coilovers
Yeah, me too.
because I like that clean package.
Yeah, yeah.
But-
and the dual rate spring, and it's a lot of adjustability
Yeah.
there. So, but definitely possible. Definitely possible. All right, Jimmy's got another one.
Yeah, Steve Waterman wants to know if you have fiberglass high fender hoods in stock. He's got
Oh, big Steve.
1998.
I do.
Yeah,
They're good in stock. They're
we might
boxed
even
up.
have them too, right?
We might,
I
yeah.
don't know, yeah. So,
Yeah.
but one of us should.
Yeah. Fiberglass, carbon fiber.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, there's one behind us, right? Yeah, one over there. They're all over the place. Yeah. So, cool. So what are some of the other things we were talking about? We were talking about lights and some other stuff on the interior that you were wanting to do on this one.
Yeah, we hadn't thought too much on the interior yet.
So for now, just a race radio.
Yeah.
They have a nice mount. I'm assuming they sent the mount.
Yeah. I
It
haven't
works
really
out
opened it
really
all
good.
yet.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so you guys, you can go on Cal4Wheel's website, and they have a page dedicated to this to buy the tickets. Ben said he's got some tickets here,
yeah.
and the tickets will be available at the events that this vehicle will
Yeah.
go to. So,
I don't know if there's a schedule of events posted. I know I have a schedule, but
on
maybe
their
online.
website. Yeah,
And
maybe
yeah,
on
you
the
can
page
go
for this.
to the events, check it out. Talk. There's usually someone there with a table and
Yeah.
tickets for sale.
And who have you been working with on this, Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's kind of running the ticket sales and all that
All
for
that
it.
stuff.
So
yeah. So yeah, it's definitely a good effort. It is the first time that a JT has been done.
Yeah.
So prior to this has been JO, JK,
Yeah.
right, and so on. So
yeah, a little sort of unique and
It is,
something a little different.
Yeah, it is. So that's cool. And you and I were talking about the wheelbase on these things. You know, it's got its advantages
Mm-hmm.
for sure. So, and then of course being a bed in the back, you can throw all kinds of stuff in there.
Oh yeah, it's a great all-around rig. You know, run to Home Depot for stuff on the weekends, or
Load it
and
up
then
and go to
put
the
camping gear in it, and take
Yep.
it out camping.
Yeah, for sure. So you guys will want to keep your eyes out for this, and if you can afford to, please participate. It's definitely a good cause and a good effort. So, all right, Jimmy, any more questions on this, or we're gonna move
On
on?
this one, there's one Jason Henley. What are you doing with the steering? Also, will you recommend ball joint delete?
Oh, that's a good question. You've seen those, right? The ball joint deletes.
Yeah, we're definitely going to upgrade the ball joints of some sort.
Yeah.
Some of that is, who we get to donate
Right.
what. We're looking at reed knuckles, replace the
Yeah.
aluminum knuckles.
Yeah, these aluminum knuckles.
And I've already on the trail fixed ball joints that have come apart.
No, my brother had trouble with these too.
Yeah.
That's no
So that'll get upgraded.
I know that even if you have one of these with the aluminum knuckles, they now have the iron version that you can go to the dealer and
Oh,
buy.
yeah,
You know,
okay.
so even if you don't want to do a crane or something,
Yeah.
get rid of these.
Yeah.
But yeah, were you gonna do upgraded steering and stuff, or?
It has upgraded tie rod and drag link from Rock Jock.
Okay, good.
We had
I was gonna say that looks beefy.
It is, yeah. So yeah, Rock Jock sent us their steering kit. So
Yeah, and if you're not familiar with that, that's good stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And their sway bars front and rear.
Yeah. And
So
all the Johnny joints, and it's got the good stuff. in
Yeah.
there, so that's cool.
and those Johnny joints, that's just it's a part we've been using
For a long time.
this old Jeep that we built
Yeah,
years ago.
yeah.
And it's a rebuildable joint. It has a good amount of flex to it.
Yeah.
It's just a great joint.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've been using it for like 17 or 18 years.
Yeah.
They're good. So that's cool. All right. So let's talk about the build that's back here.
Okay.
One good one here. Josh Dogwood. I will donate a set of ball joint deletes.
There you
Contact
go.
American Iron Off Road.
There you go. Perfect.
Okay.
So that's good that he's watching. There you go. Thanks, Josh.
Cool.
Appreciate the donation on ball joint deletes. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So tell us about this TJ.
So this is a 97 TJ that a customer brought to us. It was already built, had some other axles in it. This poor Jeep has been around a long time. It was originally built by Kilby Enterprises.
wow.
This was that Jeep. It came to us with leaf springs in the rear and a weird triangulated wishbone thing in front. And the guy said, he said, I can't even drive this thing down the road. So it has a Dodge 360 V8 in it that's California smog approved, and that was his big reason for getting this Jeep.
Yeah.
So we completely went through it, gutted everything. We plated the frame, Curry axles, GenRight Legend suspension, and GenRight bumpers, front and rear, all the aluminum armor.
Cage.
Yeah, the cage, the roof, one of our carbon fiber hoods for the Highline
That's
fenders.
looking good.
So we've been working on it quite a while, and it's just all the little stuff to finish up now.
Which is over here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I saw you were putting the aluminum center console in.
Yeah, we've got GenRight's aluminum console to go in it.
Now, did you buy the blank version and then you just cut in all the holes?
Yeah, I think we got it for the shifter, and then we added. I drew it up in AutoCAD and put it on my plasma table to cut each one of these
Nice,
out.
nice.
Make it nice and clean. And
Yeah, because you were saying you wanted his winch controls inside.
yeah,
and
just the
stuff.
option of running the winch and
Yeah.
a couple different things there. So
And then, of course,
As an Atlas we put
shifters
in.
there. So the center console is partially installed right now. I saw you've got that. Oh, and it's got our doors too.
yeah,
Our half doors.
and the door bags that we still got to put on there, and your steering wheel, removable steering wheel kit as well.
Yeah.
We put in there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's clean. And
Another thing to mention
yeah.
is and it's covered up, but the access panel.
Oh,
for the
yeah.
Fuel tank.
Isn't
And
that
we
a
just
nice
ran into
thing?
this on Sean's Jeep.
Yeah.
That we got to pull the tank.
Oh,
and
no.
we should have cut that in there. So
Yeah.
future planning for your TJs, LJs.
Put that in there.
Cut that in there when
Yeah.
the tank's out.
It
Yeah.
does. Yeah, our EXT flares, right? And I noticed you found this cool little.
Yeah, and that's
Gas
actually
cap.
a kit I was kind of putting together. We're looking at getting at, and I figured out the hoses and everything. I'm trying to
Nice.
simplify it because every one we used to do a little bit different, and I feel like I've kind of figured
Figured
out
it
the
out,
right parts
yeah.
to put it together. So, and then the GenRight stretch fuel tank.
Yep.
So we got this wheelbase on this one to about 103.
Wow.
Steering box got moved forward.
Oh, a little bit.
It actually was moved forward, and we got it.
Ah,
So
gotcha.
we're kind of stuck with that.
Gotcha.
So.
Yeah, and our bumper with the receiver hitch, tire
Uh-huh.
carrier. Yeah, looks good.
Yeah.
Looks good.
So
Cool. So it looks like it's almost done.
it's almost there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the one you were telling me that you guys are building your own brake lines.
Yeah.
You have all the
So
equipment to do that.
yeah, I used to order lines. It's one of those things. It's the end of the project. You're almost done, and then we're ordering and waiting on lines and trying to get the right adapter fittings. So I bought the equipment, and we're DOT certified to make our own brake hoses.
Yeah, that's
Everyone's tailor made. We got different colors and try to make it nice and clean looking.
that's cool.
I know that's what these projects. That's why they take me so long.
Yeah.
I was nice,
details.
but
Yes.
it's those little details that.
Yep. So that explains this power steering pump because I looked at it and I saw
Yeah,
that.
why is that
I'm
there?
like, what?
You saw it?
Yeah.
So another little detail we added on the GenRight flak jackets.
Yeah, that's cool.
We
really
custom drilled it for a little ventilation.
That's cool. Yeah, very cool. All right, so let's take a look at another one here. Any questions on that?
Nothing on that one. I got a question from Paul Kierlick, 2016 JKU 37s with a PSC big bore steering box, not hydro yet. I have the rock jock steering with the drag mounted on the bottom. Is it worth moving it to the top?
So I think so. You get that up. It's hanging down. It's the first thing to get hit by any rock. So the sooner you can get that stuff up, the better off it is. The difference with the drag link is you have to make sure that when you move that up, that the track bar has to go with it. So you can't just move it, or you're going to get some crazy bump steer.
And bump stops too, so that thing doesn't.
Get into
Hit the frame
the
and-
bottom of the frame.
Yeah, a lot of it depends on how much lift is.
And this is part of the reason why the question earlier that Ben answered is, once you go to a coil over space to work with, when you're dealing with a coil spring on there, you don't have the right amount of space to add a track bar mount that's elevated, and you can't move it over as far as you want, so you can make them all the same length, which all eliminates the bump steer. So you're asking the right question, but you're ready to step on the slippery slope. So, yeah. There you go.
That snowball effect.
Hopefully that's the answer he's looking for.
Yeah, he didn't reply. Bobby Ballamy wants to know if you're bringing any parts to Jeep Beach.
To Jeep Beach.
That's a long ways.
Well, I'm bringing my JL with a ton of upgrades. If you've been watching our Facebook, we've shown a sneak peek of a couple of them, but we've left some out very purposefully. And if you're a JL guy, you're going to want to see this because it will blow your mind. So definitely look for us at Jeep Beach. I'll have it at Easter Jeep Safari too if they're going there. So, all right, let's head over to this one here. I see the gentleman back there in the background too. Maybe he wants to come over and say hi. Maybe. All right, tell the story.
So this Jeep, I actually have the owner out here.
There you go. Come
If
over
you'd
and say
like
hi.
to
Just be on camera for a second.
Say hi. And
Yeah.
so this is my good buddy Sean.
This is
Customer for a
my
long
good
time.
builder, Ben.
So we've built a few different Jeeps for Sean over the years, and this one in particular, I guess this one's definitely my favorite. And it's funny, we joke about this all the time. I hate the color red. At least I did. But since we built this Jeep and he kept the color, it's growing on me. I really like it.
It's a great red. It really is.
But this Jeep came in completely stock, and Sean, really, he's a researcher, and he did a lot of his own homework and knew what he wanted, and we discussed, the best way to build it for what he wants to do with it, and so we started. We put Fusion 4x4 axles under it. It's basically a GenRight Legend style suspension. Fox 2.5-inch coilovers with the DSC adjusters, so he can crawl on the rocks with it and still hit the desert at some speed. And then we stretched this one to the 115-inch wheelbase like the Tracer suspensions.
You guys were
And
ahead of your time.
Well, there's a reason why it wasn't Tracer.
You're really?
Yeah, because you didn't have 4-liter kit for it yet.
Ah.
And we were gonna have to figure it out.
I
I was
thought
like-
this was just before that. I didn't realize it.
When I was talking to you down at the expo, Off-Road Expo, and they're like, it's coming, but we were already in the
Yeah, you were
deep
too
in the
far.
planning, and they're like, we're gonna have to just figure it out.
Well, it turned out nice. Ben was the right guy to work on this, that's for sure.
so yeah, we did all GenRight's body armor. Everything's aluminum except the rockers. But that saves so much weight in these full
Yeah.
3/16 plate.
I think it's
steel.
like 60 or 70 pounds per
Yeah,
side.
I know it's a difference when I pick them up.
It's a big difference.
So, has Highline fenders with one of our fiberglass Highline hoods. It's been painted to match. So
I'm curious, is there anything you would change or wish you would have done differently?
It's a really good question.
Change is a hard thing because you're already like way down the road, but are you happy that you chose these axles versus the Currys that a lot of us are running?
Yes, but I think Ben would say the Currys are the better setup. You've already figured it out. So he had to do a lot of math
And
to
make it
kind of
fit.
figure out some of the things in the front, which sometimes it's nicer to say, hey, you figured, let's do it. We just couldn't do it because you hadn't put together the 4-liter kit. So,
Right.
but would I run Currys? Absolutely run Currys. I ran Fusion. They're a great axle. Dan was very helpful working with Ben. Put together a really good package. It works good. We've had no problems except my RCVs. We've got to change the RCVs out there. Clicking and they just started popping.
Yeah, that
So-
means they're ready to go.
But Luke was great. He was helpful. Sent me a new set of RCVs, and I think we're putting those in. But any other changes would probably be motor.
Yeah, you're
And I've
ready
heard you
for-
say
you're
it's a
ready for bigger
stroker.
motor.
It's got the golden stroker because I
Yeah.
talked to Andrew and he went with it and was happy. But around here, that motor's perfect. But down at Sand Hollow, when you hit the dunes, sometimes
Need more
nothing
beans.
like a V8.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the slow guy. So we've talked about it. I've got 2 other LJ projects, and one of those is for sure going to get a bigger motor
Yeah.
and probably simplify.
I know. I saw this one sitting over here.
That one's not mine. Yeah, mine's LJ. That's
Brand new LS sitting over here. Like, huh? Nobody's using that one.
but
We're
honestly,
gonna get to work on that one soon.
Ben did an amazing job. I mean, the interior, all the little custom features we did in the front.
Yeah. Did you get any eyes on that yet? It really looks good.
Like the rugged radio panel that he
Yeah.
built custom, removed the airbag and
I didn't
the
see
switches.
that you had done the aftermarket visors and all that stuff.
Those are all. Have you seen those visors?
No.
Those things they're awesome. They're Axi alloy.
Yeah, they're not cheap, but they're nice.
They're not cheap, but
Oh, you did 3 of them. I just noticed that. I didn't
yeah,
see
for
that.
the center.
Yeah.
And there is a gap between the two, and I've talked to them about maybe making one that is a blank.
Just a
that I-
little longer. Yeah.
But they're real easy. You can flip them either way.
It is
You can get
nice.
them solid, or that's the tinted. You know, the mounts for the phones are really nice.
Nice.
The mount here, I run an iPad Mini. I like the
For your
minis.
GPS and all that stuff.
Yeah, because I can put everything on it. And did you see his panel for my switches? I'm still an old toggle
Oh,
guy.
yeah, that's nice.
So he
Down below where
he
the
did a-
ashtray was.
makes it really nice and clean. But this Jeep has 200,000 miles on it, and you look at the dash, and
It looks like brand new.
it looks brand new.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. It really looks good.
Yep, the seat suggestion, you know, you guys are running the Simpson seats.
Yeah.
I love the Simpson seats, got the
Good.
same seats in my Razors.
Good.
And then you guys put together this. Ben, he made some spacers. I like to be
A little higher.
a little higher, especially like for my wife to be in there.
Yeah, when was it that you and I met? Was it a year or was that 2 years
We
ago
met
already?
2 years ago at Trail Hero. That
Yeah.
was the, when Ben and I went down there, and we just took this down there to break it in. I mean, that was the original run.
Shakedown run.
And you jumped in it, and I was like, hey, I'm having a little stiffness with doing the front dig. And you jumped in the parking lot and did a dig right across the parking lot. But now, you know, I've never used to have an Atlas, so I'm getting used to
You
using the
gotta be
Atlas.
used to it by now.
I'm definitely used to it
Yeah.
by now. And then the 4-speed.
Yeah, how do you use that much?
The 272 for this, because I'm underpowered in the sand,
sand.
is perfect. Everything
Yeah,
else,
helps you make it up. Good.
or sometimes going down something steep where I can just drop it in.
Yeah.
It's like
So you're not
10,
riding
8
brakes.
to 1, and
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
You can't even really use your brake with it. It actually pulls through the brake, but I use that literally just in the sand to get some speed, or, you know, faster trail without
Yeah.
being geared so low.
Yeah.
But no, it's clean. I mean, Ben did an amazing job. And it works so good. I mean, it really works. Works great.
Looks awesome. Still looking awesome.
Yeah, it's clean. People say to me, "Oh, you don't take this out. You don't wheel it." I'm like, "This thing's been on the roof con a dozen times. It's been on Ford ice. It's been sand hollow.
Yeah.
Because we have a place down there.
Yeah.
You know, hit every good trail."
That's cool.
Super valve.
Oh, I know what I would do. I definitely know what I'd do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the air bumps.
Ben had
Yes.
sold me on the solid bumps because Crown, he was like, we're not going to really go fast, but guess what I'm going to doing now?
Going
I
fast.
find myself going a little bit
So,
faster,
okay,
and we're
so
going to change these out.
That's an interesting thing that I'm glad you brought that up, because so many times customers come to me and they go, you know, I don't go fast. I'm not going to go fast. And I'm like, yeah, but you have
That
a
was me.
wheel. You have a wheeled Jeep that's more capable.
Yeah.
Once you're on 40s and you're not, everything you drop off, you're not hearing bam, bam. All of a sudden you're like, well, I can go a little faster. I can go a little faster. And then you start hanging around faster people, and next thing you know, you want to go fast.
That's what happened. And I took it to Phil Licardi,
Yeah.
the shock tune.
Yeah.
And we shock tune it. We actually, at one point, he said, there's nothing else I can do until you at least get rear.
Yeah.
He goes, there's nothing else. That
Well, that's
should
an
hold
easy
on.
fix.
It is. We just got to French them in here and in the front. Yeah, that's an easy fix.
Cool.
It's in the plan.
Good, good. Okay, that was a great mention. All right.
And then
well,
Casey Curry helped tune with the Fox. He kind of explained it because I had a hard time figuring him out. And I ran
Well-
into him on a trail in Moab, and he stopped. He thought we were broken down, and he started talking to me. I said, I'm having an issue with these Fox, and he spent like 15 minutes and told me exactly what to do to figure it
Good.
out, and it worked perfect.
good. I
was a
know.
great tip.
When it's interesting the way that they describe high and low speed. You think about going fast, but it's shaft speed. Yes. So until you make that connection, you're like, what? You know? Yeah.
Yeah,
There it is.
Velocity, that piston. moving in and out.
exactly.
Yes. So.
And when we're crawling, it didn't matter.
Right.
But as I'm picking up the speed or coming down the dunes and going over them,
Yeah.
it's hitting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you think just 1 or 2 clicks? No. Casey was like, crank that thing
Yeah.
up and work your way backwards.
So it's what it is. It works out to be 1% per click. So you gotta turn
Oh, big
10 to
difference, yeah.
get feel a difference. Yeah, I think there's 20 clicks, so you get 20% range.
And then the tuning by Phil made a huge difference. Huge difference in the shock. That was.
That's good.
But now it's like I want to start running a little faster. And the bump, you got to have the bump. if
Oh
you're
yeah,
going
no,
faster.
when you hit that, it's pretty abrupt.
Oh yeah, you feel it. So.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, well, excellent. Jimmy, did you have a question over there?
Just super valid, like Sean to explain the dirt therapy versus stepchild name on the Jeep.
Oh, okay.
Stepchild's name is on this Jeep.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And is
Oh,
there-
this is a thanks to you guys. Everyone gave you big props on this.
What's this?
This is where Kevin in his JL, we were
Oh.
racing down the dunes
saw
of San
that
Hollow,
video.
and he hit me. I don't know, he hit me. He must have been like 30 miles an hour, but he lifted the back end of my Jeep up and it carried probably 50 to 80 feet.
Oh man.
And the front of the JL was pretty trashed. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. That's all you see.
That's
is
not
this,
bad.
this, here.
Yeah.
And they got out because they were panicked that, wow, we might
They
have
ruined your
really
Jeep?
messed my Jeep
Yeah,
and nothing.
yeah. No, everything looks straight. Looks good.
Yeah, I mean, thank goodness for that. I mean, it's perfect, but
Yeah. That's
yeah, so
That came up in conversation.
yeah, I think a lot of people recognize this Jeep and go, oh, you're the one that Kevin hit.
great.
But I still beat him down the hill.
Okay, so the name,
Dirt Therapy?
yeah.
Dirt Therapy came from a group of us who out go Jeeping or dirt bike route and ride razors. And one time my wife was like, you just need to get out with your guys. You guys need to go out and get some dirt therapy. And that's what we called it. And we just said, hey, we actually made t-shirts that like dirt therapy. And we coined the phrase because you see on the online people saying trail therapy, rock therapy.
Yeah.
Those were all taken, so I took dirt therapy.
Nice.
So
Awesome.
we made the Jeep dirt therapy, and everybody kind of relates who goes out and plays in the sand or the dirt.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. What else we got, Jimmy?
That's it. Final question.
Wow, I can't believe we don't have more questions on this. I did notice you Frenched in the lights into this.
Yeah, those
Pocket.
are awesome.
Yeah, they're bright.
Another
They're-
thing we did on this one was the little lights up above, just some
Oh,
work
yeah.
lights.
These
Camp,
here
sit in the
are
camp
awesome.
and stuff.
Yeah.
I use those more than any light.
Yeah.
Because when you pull up next to somebody, someone's airing down or whatever, and you can kick that on, or when you're walking next to someone who's crawling, this light lights it up for the person who's walking,
Huh.
along with obviously the rock lights too. But those work lights have been great. So now my buddies are all running them too.
Well, you've managed to keep this thing in pretty nice condition.
It's a little beat up underneath them. I real that.
That's awesome.
And he built me those custom
Oh, racks.
the racks in here.
Yes.
They're at home because he's doing some work. I took him out, makes it easier to get in and out. But
Sure.
the racks are great.
Does he have the fuel pump access panel?
No,
Is it going to get it soon?
eventually it will.
Yeah.
So we talked about it originally,
Yeah.
and I was like, well, if you're putting something brand new, there's no way something brand new
It's
goes
gonna be
out.
faulty.
But I keep hearing that all these fuel pumps keep having issues.
Well, you know why? Because people hit them on stuff. By the way, that is the number one. If you take an electric motor and you hit it with a hammer, you can get it like stalls.
Yeah.
So that's every rock, that you're bopping on, they just go bad.
What it is I'm almost positive, is the bypass, or the bypass.
Check valve.
The check valve, excuse me. The check valve in there
Went bad.
started going bad, and then when it's running hot, then as the pressure goes down, the gas in the fuel line up in the engine compartment boils, and you hear it boiling because the pressure goes down, which forces all the fuel back in the tank. So you go to start it next time, and it's 3 keys every time.
Yeah, to get it back up.
Every time.
Yeah.
So it works, but it just kind of gets one of those irritating. Everybody thinks when you're on a hill and you're trying to start it, you're like, oh, he's broken down. No.
Yeah, and you can, I don't know if you've seen it, but I've got those upgraded, just the pump itself, not the whole module, but the pump, from Aeromotive. And it has its own built-in check valve.
Yeah.
And now, in all the Jeeps we build, they all get dual pumps.
Yeah.
And an access panel.
And an access panel. Because there's nothing worse than dropping a full tank on the trail,
Yeah.
man. No thanks.
And we're working on some cooling stuff. I've been kind of doing the research for Ben about running some brushless 5-inch fans, maybe with your louvers or a louver where they'll mount to an aluminum bracket underneath. where you can actually control the speed on them.
Just pull some heat
Right
out.
at the cowl, at the end of the cowl there, because we're figuring that's where the heat's.
It is. It all builds right there.
And I see that in a lot of your packages with the LS, you're taking out the fender flare
Yes.
because it's, or the
Inner
the
fender,
inner
yeah.
fender because it's too much heat.
Yeah.
I really like the look. We did a good job painting it black to match, and I don't want to remove it, but we got to get the heat out underneath. And I think the way is some type of louver with one of these brushless fans that you don't even hear. They're so quiet.
Yeah, they are.
And just pump the air, the hot air out of there.
Heck yeah.
So a little project.
Yeah.
My fuel line won't keep boiling on me.
Yeah, and you could do the dragster trick too, where you have the little cooler that's got a coil in it, so the fuel runs through that on its way up to the motor. It's a small deal.
Yeah.
So that's anybody that has that trouble, I always recommend that.
Same thing.
And then, like this does not have a return, right?
No,
Because on the return systems, that's how you overheat the whole tank.
that's right. Yeah.
So what we do is we do the return right back here, and then only the fuel feeds up to the motor.
Only the fuel feeds up.
So, yeah, lots of race tricks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
A little off topic, maybe
Okay.
both of you guys can answer it. So, Byron Roberts has a stock LJ wheelbase with a 4-inch lift. Wants to run a Dana 60. Do you need to move the fuel tank back?
so there's a couple of things on that. If he's gonna 4-link it, he could probably get away with it. There's actually room between the diff cover and the tank that's made for the track bar. But if he plans on putting a track bar still on there, yeah, he's gonna need to cut out that faux cross member and just move it back.
Well, and how big are tires and what's he planning to do with it?
Right.
There's
Right.
a lot of
Well, because once you go
questions.
to big tires, 103 is not gonna be long enough, so he's gonna wanna be sliding that back.
And that's an easy
Easy.
4 or 5 inches stretch, cut that thing out, move
Yeah.
even the stock tank back and
Yeah.
get a little stretch out of it.
So, with, if you go to our tank, that gives you 7 more inches of stretch than a stock tank. So if you, that just gives you an idea, when you move the stock tank back, that's 5, then you go 7 more. I mean,
is
there's
like
a
this one
lot.
is
Yeah,
here.
like this, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a lot to be accomplished, pretty inexpensive.
Especially since you start seeing everybody's wheelbases
Getting longer. Yeah, it makes a huge difference.
It
We were
is.
just talking about that before you got here. You know how that 10-inch difference between yours and his, like, it's a long
It
way.
makes a big difference.
Yeah, so, yep. What else we got? We're doing good, huh? Wow, okay, let's go that way.
Okay.
Or, no, let's talk about this. I forgot about this. So, this is, for everybody watching, I had to laugh when I saw this, because it started out as an actual Jeep, but now there's no actual Jeep left. So, Ben, tell the story.
So this started out with a customer I'd worked on with JK, and then he told me about the CJ project. So it came in as an old school build, CJ5, big, junkyard axles, 42s, Chevy 350, stuff like that. He wanted to stretch it, build it up beefy, everything new and fresh. And so we started, Curry 70 front, 40 spline, 70 full float rear, 40 spline, brand new crate GM LS3, 4L80, all built up, Atlas, and all that stuff. And then it was, we want to stretch the Jeep. And I said, well, we can do that, but he said, well, how about a new tub? So we did the Aqualube CJ6 tub, and then it's new frame rails and everything. And so it snowballed into a full-on, custom built Jeep
Right,
from
yeah.
scratch.
And nothing's left of the other Jeep.
Yeah,
It's
he
gone.
took the Jeep to wheel it. It's quite a project, starting from scratch, not having locations and holes for anything, and we're figuring it out as we go. But I got a lot of good ideas for it, and he's been very patient with me, and we're gonna get this Jeep built for him soon, so he can.
And I like how you're gonna put some GenRight corners
Yeah,
in there
so-
to stretch this.
We're gonna cut out the back. I got GenRight's the longest blank corners you make. We're gonna put on there and
then move the wheel to
move
there.
that wheel well.
Wow, that's gonna be awesome. Gonna be awesome.
And it'll be linked with coilovers and all that. So
Very
yeah,
cool.
we get GenRight product on everything we do.
Well, and I was chuckling about this because this is what I advise a lot of customers to do. Don't start with the whole Jeep. You don't need to anymore. If you're going crazy V8 Like you can just get a frame and a tub and
Everything's fresh. You're not redoing wiring and,
Right.
and things that just. The more you try to fix it and redo it, you're just chasing it.
yeah.
So.
Yep. Okay, so now let's head
All
outside.
right.
Jimmy, any questions on that one?
Nothing.
Wow, everybody's pretty quiet today. What's going on? They're sleeping back there. All right. Well, we're gonna walk outside and show you guys a couple more builds. He's got a TJ here. We're gonna start with that one. So tell us about this guy.
So this customer, I've known for a long time. Friend, customer, worked on a couple different Jeeps and things for him. It was a mildly built TJ when he bought it, 35-inch tires, stock axles. We originally did the GenRight 6-inch flares on here.
Oh wow.
And this guy uses his Jeep to its fullest. So he learned real quick that those big white flares were too much for real rock crawling.
Wheeling, yeah.
And he was constantly breaking axles and things. And so this Jeep's gone through a couple of different upgrades. Now it's on Curry 60s. We've got the GenRight 4-inch flares, all steel on this one.
Yeah, so that was the first thing I noticed was they're steel, but the guy clear coats these, so as he bashes them up, he can get in there and
He knows he's going
tune it
to
up.
rub those things on the rocks.
Yeah.
And he can go back, clean it up. I mean, you can even see, it's dented.
Dents
This thing's
and
been
stuff.
on its side. It's been
Yeah.
rolled over.
So a lot of the time we talk about aluminum, but if you're going to drive it like this, maybe steel's your friend,
Yeah.
So
Back to the question we had earlier on the rockers.
yeah, from
The way
Troy.
these things wrap the body so tight, you can't, you're gaining a couple inches of clearance.
Yeah.
By the time you do something heavy duty,
down
off
below.
the frame.
Yeah, you'd be way
And
down
those things
there.
are solid. There's so many bolts and all that surface area to the body there
Yeah.
that I
Yeah,
smacked
you
mine
and I
pretty
have run
good.
these for years. Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought, oh boy, I get out and they look fine. And
Yeah.
so yeah.
And same on the front fenders, right? Steel.
Correct, yeah. Steel high lines with the Highline hood.
And you were talking about this bumper. Tell the story
So-
about this bumper.
When I started racing stock class, King of the Hammers, we built this bumper for our TJ. And so this is the original bumper. It still even has some blue paint hidden on there.
That's funny. Very funny. Yeah, very cool. And you pulled it because you figured it was too heavy, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was when I built one out of aluminum, trying to go fast in the desert and short course and everything. It was a difference of 50 pounds.
Yeah.
And
Right
a
on
race
the
car,
front.
that's huge.
Yeah, that's huge.
So
Question about a TJ. Jim Dexter has an 05 TJ with a GenRight tank and a 4-link rear. Do I have any room for a stretch in my TJ? Only looks like I can move maybe 4 inches.
depends on which tank he has.
Yeah,
but-
because we make different ones.
Yeah.
But 4 inches, is quite a bit in the rear.
yeah.
So really all you got to do is just compress the suspension. Now, I usually keep like a finger's width between the diff
Mine's-
cover. Yours is like
Yeah, it's
right
right
there.
there.
Yeah. Things move a little more than you think. But yeah, you don't need much room between the diff cover and the tank. So just check it and slide it back as far as you
Yeah.
can. It's what we do all day long.
Yeah.
So pretty cool.
And that's key in building these things is cycling everything multiple times before you go welding everything together.
yeah.
So
Yeah, this guy's got the rock stomper style bump stops too. He does not have air bumps.
yeah. And we'll do a lot of them that way when they're this guy likes it setting real low. If they only have 3-4 inches of up travel.
Yeah.
You put an air bump in and then they're constantly banging, and then I got complaints, hey, it's banging
Noisy.
all the time.
Yeah. And plus, the advantage to these is when you go to climb something, it'll set right on those and it feels really solid, So, yeah, if you're doing a lot of real rock crawl like that.
And that's, we usually ask the customer, hey, what do you plan to do? This guy's pretty much slow crawl with this. Same with the TJ there in the back is all slow crawl.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys now are wanting to do both. And
Right. Well, that's what happens, right?
Yeah.
They're like, hey, I seen everybody else come.
Yeah.
Oh, what about me, So let's jump over to one of your newer builds. This thing's pretty cool.
So this is our latest build. We just completed it last Friday. 2014 JK. It came in here on 37s, short arm lift, mild little build. Customer wanted something solid that he could wheel anywhere, do a little fast-paced stuff in the desert, and not worry about it, you know.
Yeah.
So we started with Curry 70 in the rear, 60 in the front. GenRight's full elite suspension. We lifted the body off of it, cut cross members, welded in all the. By the way, the brackets you guys have figured out. You know, they match the holes in the frame. You clamp them in. You know, everything has
It's a
its
no-brainer,
place.
right?
Yeah. So we did the solid aluminum links, King 2.5-inch shocks with the adjusters, and King bump stops.
Yeah, earlier you and I were talking about, you know, how when you build one of these, they get so heavy. So, you know, going with the aluminum really saves a lot of weight.
It
I think
does.
it's 600-pound difference.
Wow.
You know, it's
Yeah,
a lot.
That is.
So it makes a difference.
And
And of
then-
course, this guy did the aluminum half doors and everything, right?
Yeah, aluminum half doors. We did the B-pillar chop, the whole GenRight roll cage. This B-pillar chop is huge. Visibility when you're wheeling, and then he can still put that piece back in there. He has a full hard top, full doors. It'll go back on in the wintertime.
Yeah. Very nice.
So
And he did our big 36-gallon tank.
yeah,
Which
which
is
you have
awesome.
to cut that
Extra
last
cross
cross member
member
out
out,
for.
yeah.
But yeah, 36 gallons. You know, we put 40-inch tires on them, and they don't get the best mileage anymore. So.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of these people like to drive them to the trails and
Yeah.
drive them longer distances. And with this kind of suspension, you can comfortably
Yeah.
drive it down the road.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the whole idea by outboarding everything is make it more stable
Yeah,
than the old days when everything was like
yeah.
super sketchy. So,
And the wide axles with more offset to the tire, and bring the wheel and tire back in. Helps with the steering.
I noticed this guy stuck with the factory style seat belts. Will he do harnesses at some point?
I
or-
asked that question. He didn't seem interested in changing the harnesses and like just the ease of the factory seat belts. I'm a believer in good harnesses.
Yeah.
And I've been in situations in our Jeep just wheeling where you're kind of hanging there, can't get out of the seat belt. So I like harnesses, but
Yeah.
it makes it nice when you're just hopping in to drive down the road.
Yeah. Oh, and earlier you told me, you know, that the guy originally wanted the hinges painted, but
He
the
did.
nice billet hinges.
My painter was here when we were talking about it, and yeah, I mean those are, nice machine work on those hinges. And
Yeah.
so I think it came out pretty good. When the customer's seen it, he said, "Oh yeah, that was
Yeah,
good
call.
choice."
Yeah, and if you haven't seen those before, those are the ones that we have on our website, and it's all stainless hardware and pin. They're nice. They're nice. There's cheaper ones out there, but these are definitely nice. And then I was commenting earlier, you know, the color matched corner guards. It just really blends in.
And
Looks
yeah,
awesome.
it blends in so good you almost don't even know they're on there.
Yeah.
But yeah, this came in with some different body armor and stuff on it, and we talked him into streamlining it all, GenRight stuff, and so yeah, these corners, it took some work to cover up some stuff that's in there, but
Yeah.
it worked out good.
But then they get the recessed tail
Oh,
light.
yeah.
And, I noticed that you did the weld-on tabs instead of that plate, which is a nice touch. So that's cool. And then, of course, the rash guards on the rockers and
protect
bumpers.
the aluminum.
Yep.
And, and that's an easy replacement part.
It is, yeah. And that's the most vulnerable, you know, where it's gonna get hit for sure. So, yeah, very cool. And then for those of you that aren't familiar with this kit, this is the one that has the completely flat belly. We can come over to this side and look at it, Alex. So this is the whole belly flat. And I don't know if you saw the frame either, but like Ben said, they powder coated this whole thing. It's beautiful. So
It was one of those questions we asked when it was all in pieces. Hey, this is the time to do it.
yeah, for sure.
It just makes it look nice down the road.
Yeah, and this one is still the stock 3.6
It
with
is,
the factory
yeah.
training. And factory transfer case as well.
Correct.
Yeah,
Rubicon
so
transfer
Rubicon.
case.
Yeah.
Eventually
That's cool.
he'll do an Atlas or something.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it looks really good. That's the same powder coat I did on the Terremoto cage years and years ago.
Okay. That's silver vein.
Yeah,
It's one of those colors that just goes with anything.
I know people like it for
Yeah.
sure. So looks really good. Any more questions, Jimmy?
Yeah, Joseph Barbioni would like to know, are those 2.5-inch Kings up front and how much travel?
Yeah, so these are 2.5 inch. Are these IBPs or just with the?
No, they're just with the adjusters.
clicker,
2.5
yeah.
by 12.
Yeah. So a lot of people, including shock tuners, do like this setup with the air bump because they feel they can tune them really good. More and more people are doing the IBPs. It's quite a bit more money.
Yeah. Are you doing the 2.5 IBPs or the 3-inch?
Both. We've done both. Yeah. So certainly on mine, I'm doing 3-inch.
Yeah.
But it takes a little bit to get them dialed in. But once we do, then we call King and tell them that's what we want.
Yeah, make
All
it
of them
this
to come
album
that way.
with JK.
Yeah. So it's been really good.
Yeah.
This kit, if you're running the stock motor, because of the battery and everything that's here, the longest shock you can put on this is a 12. And that 12-inch shock completely maxes out the U-joint on the drive shaft, the steering. Like, we've absolutely optimized this the
Yeah.
best you can get.
No,
The
it's a
rear
lot of
has a
trouble.
14.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you've never seen it, this will still ramp on an RTI ramp at, over 1,000, almost 1,100. So it's more than enough, and the road manners are awesome. You can drive this thing down the highway at 100, no problem. So,
I did that with
Ask
another
me
one
how
we
I
did
know.
with an LS in it. I'm like, oh, I gotta see how fast it goes. And it was. I mean, it's like driving a car.
no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because
that's
all the
something-
casters right and everything,
That was the comment that this customer made when
Yeah.
we took it over the weekend. Hey, it handles much better than it did when it
Much.
came in.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So
which makes it more fun to drive on the weekend. They get more use out of it. and it's
Yeah, whether
enjoyable
it's
to
going to
drive.
get ice cream on Friday night
Yeah.
or going to the trailhead.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So,
Paul Fichtner would like to know if the wheelbase got stretched on the JKU.
yeah, they get stretched 2 inches. So this goes from 116 to 118. And it's really just kind of center everything up.
Yeah, get the 40-inch tire to fit
Yeah.
in there.
Because it's tight.
It still takes some trimming.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but it works out pretty good.
Joe
Yeah.
Mink would like to know what you did with the exhaust.
Oh.
the exhaust. I don't do exhaust work in house, so we send it out. But it
Can we see it?
maybe it's you can kind of look underneath there.
Oh, he's got the engine skid and everything.
It's
nice.
routed. I mean, it's tight.
Oh,
over
yeah, I
the
see it over
upper
here, yeah.
link and the drive line
Yeah.
because there's so much suspension travel.
Yeah.
And then it's been wrapped,
Oh,
for heat.
and then it dumps here.
comes back.
Yeah, like right above your head.
Yeah, there's a small little muffler inside here, and then just kind of a turn down.
Yeah.
There's not really enough room to get a full tailpipe on these.
Boy, everything's really nice looking when it's brand new. That gloss black with the aluminum contrast looks awesome. Looks just awesome. The other common question I get is, hey, it doesn't look like there's very much space between the bump stop and the pad. And that's because this suspension has a lot of anti-squat built into it. So the moment you take off, everything opens up. And that's part of the secret behind what makes this thing drive really good off-road, is that the more you stand on the gas, the more that pushes down and the bigger stuff you can hit. So it's not everybody understands it. I live by it, so I love it.
Yeah, well, it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
And anti-dive in the front. When you go to stop quick, the whole thing's not diving to the front
down.
end. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, good stuff.
You can actually, you get on the brakes, you can feel it loading up when you take off.
Yeah. What else you got, Jimmy?
Gary Swagger would like to know, when are we going to get to see or hear about the JLU roll cage? Patience is overrated.
Oh, okay. So the question was about the JLU roll cage. I know that we have posted several sneak peeks on our GenRight Facebook page and probably Instagram too. I know that today the roll cage was out of the Jeep to get painted, and they took pictures of it to add to the website. So it looks a lot like this, but it is, we've made several substantial refinements, and that actually are going to trickle back to the JK. So it's really nice. Fits the hard top, soft top we've already done. The B-pillar chop also on that with the half doors. So yeah, if you're a JL guy, we'll have it at Easter Jeep, we'll have it at Jeep Beach. You are gonna want to see this. It is outstanding. And you know, refit a lot of the visors and the mirror and everything. I mean, just like every touch you're hoping for sure. So yeah.
Which is cool, because that's, you know, questions we get
Yeah.
doing these, oh, well, my factory whatever fit.
Yeah.
So, and even, you know, we trimmed up the plastic, and he's like, oh, well, I didn't know that was going to go back on there.
Yeah.
We do our
Looks
best.
nice, yeah. Yeah,
Make it
for
look
sure.
like it was meant to be.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so I think, you know, a lot of people are really going to be pleasantly surprised by what that looks like. And then, like I say, we'll roll some of those refinements back into these.
yeah.
It'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joseph would like to know what's the axle width and wheel offset for the JKU.
So these are 70 inches,
70 inches
wheel
hub
mounting
to hub.
surface, yep. And we're using that same thing on the tracers now, so 70 has kind of become the standard. And then you can always tell how offset the wheel is by, this is the factory ear on the knuckle, and you can see how close the wheel is. So I'm gonna guess these are like 4 3/4 backspace,
Yeah,
5.
4 1/2, 4 3/4.
Yeah, they're pretty deep.
Yeah.
Like that's close.
And that's important to bring that center of that tire closer to the kingpin for stability on the road.
Stability, it reduces the scrub radius, just keeps traction. And you know, this also has the thing rolled back, so you got 10 degrees of caster. I mean, there's a lot of magic happening here for
Yeah.
sure. So
Definitely a lot of thought that's been put into it.
yeah. What else you got?
It's the purpose of a fiberglass JK windshield frame so that it sacrifices itself in a rollover.
It's lightweight and it won't rust. So yeah, they're hard to find, and when you find them, they're bucks. So yeah. What else you got?
Paul Fickner, is there a reason why you chose not to go wider?
Oh, so there is a point of no return, right? So a lot of these vehicles are getting driven on the street, and depending on where you live, the amount of tire that is allowed to stick out makes a big difference. Most of the time, your local law enforcement won't hassle you if it's one lug hanging out. Depends on the state. If you're in Utah, Pennsylvania, you can't have anything hanging out. So that kind of, and we make a wider flare, you know, for those folks. But the reality is, this has been optimized for full articulation of the suspension without rubbing, and you know, on a 40, or depending on, you know, what Jeep you're talking about. If it's a tracer, that'd be on a 42. So it really has just been optimized, and that turns out to be the right width. Now that width came originally from our race cars. So that was the same width that Jordan ran on his 4500 car, that I ran on my 4400 car. So we know, we're really familiar with that, and how the pinion offset, just everything works, and it's a good size. So.
Well, if you get too wide on some of them, then it's too tight on some of these trails.
Trails, right.
Rubicon, Ford Ice Barrett.
I mean, yeah, you forget, you know, you go wider than this, you're not getting on a Barrett. You know,
Yeah.
like that's it. So
And it's in how the vehicle handles. I mean, I will with some old CJs, they weasel through everything, and I'm up and over. So, but if you got the suspension travel to soak that up,
then no problem.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's just the balance, right?
Yeah.
You know, you're trying to get wide enough for stability, but not too wide.
Well, and 70 inches sounds super wide.
Yeah, but
we
it's
bring the tires back in with the
That's
wheels.
right. So the bubble to bubble, I think, is 84.
Okay.
Is what it is. So, and that's what I always go at. The bummer is your trailer is like 82 and a half.
Yeah.
So you got to make something to drive
Fender.
over. And trust me, I worked really hard to keep it so you didn't have to do that. But to get, again, after we maximized everything, it just was not possible. So, yeah. So hopefully that answers that question. What else you got, Jimmy?
We are caught up.
We are caught up, and I think we're out of time, right?
Right at 6 o'clock.
Right at 6. Okay. Well,
I
let's
can see one that
finish.
came in real quick.
Okay, let's finish back at the Gladiator.
Will that axle fit on Barrett Lake?
That one will, yes. Yeah, 70 inches with a 1350 40-inch tire and a 4 1/2 or 4 3/4 backspace wheel. And yes, because it's 84 bubble to bubble. So we're going to finish back here, which is where we started on the Cal4Wheel Gladiator. And really the purpose of today's Tech Talk was to reinforce the importance of being involved in land use. This is your chance that you can spend a little money and have a chance to win, and it goes to a good cause as well. So GenRight has always been a supporter of these builds, and as a lot of you may know, I'm active in land use stuff here in Sacramento. So I can't say enough. Be involved, get involved, spend money. Like it's just what you got to do.
Well, join local clubs.
Clubs.
And joining Cal4Wheel.
Yep, join
and,
Cal4Wheel,
attending
go to
some
the
of their events.
Yep.
Yeah, all that goes back
is
into
fun.
helping
Yeah.
with land use. And
Yeah, for sure.
so, yeah.
So can't stress that enough.
Yeah.
Both you and I.
Yeah.
So anyways, check out the Cal4Wheel website. There's tickets available, and you don't have to live in California to buy tickets. So we wish you luck that maybe you'll get a chance to win this baby. So thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you next Wednesday from Moab, Utah.
And thank you, Tony, for
Yeah.
coming up and doing the Tech Talk here with us.
Of course. Good to see you.